1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon. Oh.
Most of the last few seasons, every one of the last few seasons, he's up there with 20 goals, a bit more, amongst the top players. But I don't know how many he's got this season. Perhaps I'm doing him a disservice, but I don't think he's scored anything like that. He just, he did go through a spell of being dropped anyway, but he just isn't doing it. And for me, that's not to say it's all down to him. Of course it's not. But there's a falling off this season with Liverpool, with the players. I think early in the season, I don't think Van Dijk was up to his best. I think he's regained his form. They had some good players who come in. Of course, they lost Isak, and I don't know whether he'll come back before the end of the season. He may have made a difference. Ekitike, great player in the early games he played, were tremendous. But even he seems to have. He went down a few dead-end streets in the game the other day, where he just doesn't look that sharp. So whether there's a kind of an infectious negative that's going on. I mean, the exception would be Szoboszlai. I mean, he still seems to be the player. Everything seems to go through him. He's all over the pitch. He's a great footballer. He really is. He's shown that this season, probably more than any other season. So his form hasn't fallen away. But I would say generally, it's not the Liverpool that we used to see, or that we even under Slot last season. Now, I mean, there's been talk that maybe he won't be kept on there at the end of this season. As you say about the conference, it depends where they finish. They're obviously not going to get into the top 3 or 4, I imagine. So it could well be the conference that they get into, at least that. I mean, they've got to do that. If they didn't get there, I think he wouldn't stay. They wouldn't keep him. But I still think he's a good manager. He's difficult to. Generally with managers, I think we get a feel about them with Klopp and Guardiola. I know he's been here for many years, but you get a feel about managers. And I've never really got that feel with Slot. I don't feel, maybe he doesn't give much of his own personality away. But I think he's good. He knows his stuff, and they certainly did well last season. Why all that's kind of collapsed? You wonder whether he was new last season, and whether second season syndrome, when a manager and his tactics get found out. I don't mean that they're not very good. I mean that other teams learn how to cancel out. And I think the same has happened at Palace. We had a great season with Glasner, won the FA Cup, the Community Shield. This season, it kind of has all gone up, up in smoke in a way. And although we've lost Eze and Mark Gay, so that hasn't helped us. But it's like Glasner's tactics, and he does tend to stick to sort of one level of tactics for the most part. They've been found out, they're countered, and we're not the team we were as a result. So I think there is something in that. If you go back to Leicester when they won the Premier League incredibly in 2016, Claudio Ranieri was the manager. It was, the celebration of all the Leicester fans when he did that, against all the odds really. And then halfway through the next season, he was sacked because it didn't work. Some of their players were picked off by the higher clubs as well, which didn't help them. But you couldn't imagine at the end of that season in 16, when they won it, that a few more months he'd be out, he'd be sacked. But that's what football is. It's pretty brutal and ruthless. But yeah, I mean, as it happens in Glasner's case, he's made it quite clear from early in the year he's not staying on after his contract ends at the end of this season anyway, so it's not like he's going to be sacked. But yeah, Liverpool are not the Liverpool we know and love, if you like. They're not quite the same team, are they? But then nor are Manchester City. They're not achieving everything they should be either. But that's another subject, I guess.
Say hello to old Mimi, Dr. Gladys and Rose, 3 beautiful ladies who join us on our shows. There's one other bro, sometimes joins us on the show.
I guess.
Yeah. Now, this is the start for Liverpool in the Premier League this season. So 30 matches, only 14 wins, 16 stumbles, which is 9 losses and 7 draws. And then this year, since the beginning of 2026, 12 matches, they've only won 4 out of 12 matches in 2026. So there's something fundamentally not working for them. I wouldn't say wrong, because obviously they are still trying their best, but it's just not working. And it'd be interesting to see their next fixtures. They've got Brighton, Fulham, Everton, Crystal Palace, Manchester United, Chelsea, Aston Villa, and Brentford. These are not easy matches. I think they've had all their easy matches with Wolves in there.
Yeah.
You know. So, well, let's see how it goes with them.
I mean, when you think, though, they lost players like Diaz, and I never understood why they let him go. Whether he was at the end of his contract and wanted to, I don't know. But he would come on very often as a sub if he wasn't starting, and he would have almost an immediate impact. He was very good on that wing. And of course, we know they lost Jota, who was also a great impact sub. Although I had a feeling this year he would have started most games. They lost our friend Trent Alexander-Arnold, who I saw the other day. He did play for Real Madrid. I mean, I've heard before he's not going to stay on there, but he was playing the other day in the Champions League. So yeah, it's they did lose some players, and okay, they brought some new ones in. But as Palace fans, you've got to bed in your new players. They don't instantly become part of a machine, a good, well-oiled machine. So maybe that's part of Liverpool's problems. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's been a strange season so far, the Premier League this season, because most teams have had very bad spells. I mean, Manchester City had a long bad spell, Bournemouth did, Palace did, Liverpool did. I wouldn't say Arsenal have. They've lost a few games that they wouldn't have expected to, or certainly a couple. But it's been interesting that maybe there's a levelling going on where, I mean, I watched the game, or some of the game last night with Wolves and Brentford, and Wolves are a pretty good side. I mean, they were 2-0 down. They brought it back to 2-2 near the end, and very nearly, frankly, should have had a winner, but I think they hit the bar. Which would have been an amazing comeback. But it's a shame, because their fans will be saying, why could...
Say hello to old Mimi, Dr. Gladys and Rose, 3 beautiful ladies who join us on our shows. There's one other bro, sometimes joins us on the show.